Hello and welcome to this episode of the Big Rican Baseball Show, episode 2 of what will be a 3-episode chain, and it will be better than the first 3 episodes of Star Wars, I swear to God. Alex from Row 7 is here to give us the buyer's perspective of the 2021 insanity-laden trade deadline. Alex, as always, it is so much fun to have you here. And I got to tell you, I like the back of your bullpen.
I mean, if we can score some runs, we got a chance, right?
Who are you talking to? So for anybody who's listening and didn't catch my show on Saturday, we're going to go through all the big deals that were made. The small ones, like the Rich Hill move to the Mets, which I think was a great depth piece, but not something that's going to break the bank. We're going to go through all of them. And we're going to kind of take it from the buyer's perspective because both of our teams were buyers. Hopefully later this week I'll have Tones on. A big shout out to him. Him and Joey and Cleveland are at Raw tonight. So they're actually doing the Cleveland Me podcast from Raw. So that'll be cool. It'll be a great listen. If you're a wrestling person, these guys know what they're talking about. They still want me to have me on, of course, because I was alive when WrestleMania 3 actually happened. So, listen, man, I remember watching him body slam Andre the Giant.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Wow.
My aunt and uncle who lived down the street from me, they were big into it. I'm talking Saturday morning, gorgeous ladies of wrestling, big into it.
Wow. Okay.
And, so we'd watch pay-per-views there. And he'd, of course, bootleg tape them, which is why I'm not giving out names. So, let's hop right to it. Let's get to the Chicago White Sox, who in a huge move and something they haven't done really ever, I don't think, make a big deal with the Chicago Cubs and get Craig Kimbrell, a Hall of Fame caliber closer, to pair with Liam Hendricks at the back end of that bullpen. And Alex, when you saw the deal go down, I know our chat, myself, you, and Tone kind of blew up. Because Tone was excited about Madrigal going across town. Talk to me about what you think Kimbrell's going to bring to the back of that bullpen moving forward.
I mean, we've seen what he's done with the Chicago Cubs this past season. I mean, he was lights out, and I'm hoping that trajectory continues in the right direction. And when you think about it, you can put him 7, 8, or 9. So if you got a lead, you can go with Kopech in the 7th. If you want to switch it up, you can go Hendricks in the 8th, and if you want to really be lights out, Kimbrell in the 9th. So that's devastating. Those 3 guys can just like blow you away. There's most teams, I'm gonna just be quite honest, have no chance against it. No chance.
No, and I agree with you, but I will say this: I think the interesting thing you said is Kopech in the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, because Kopech has 4 or 5 more years of control with the White Sox after this. Right. Do you move him to the 9th inning when these 2 guys are gone? Instead of having him be a starter?
I would. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about that because I would like to see him be a starter and at least give you 5, 6 on a regular basis. But I'm kind of liking what he's doing out of the bullpen. He's coming in. He's getting the hold. He's blowing people away at 99, if not 100. So with that control and with his ability to get people out and just get the hold and take you into the 8th and 9th where you're going to basically get dragged underwater with Hendricks and Kimbrell now. That's lights out as far as I'm concerned. And I know they're going to have their rough outings here and there, but when you think about it, the way that Tony La Russa can kind of mix it up and put, if you really want to, dabble with it, and you do Kopech in the 9th, just to kind of see exactly how it works going into the, that playoff run and into the playoffs. If it works, hey, by all means necessary.
No, I agree with you. And I actually have Kopech on my Diamond Dynasty team on MLB. I use him out of the bullpen.
Good call.
So let me ask you about the more under the radar move. And with Madrigal being out for the season there's a hamstring injury, right? He had surgery?
Torn hamstring,
okay. Yep. Okay. Getting Cesar Hernandez from the Cleveland Indians. Again, there was a lot of trading inside interdivision in this trade deadline. What did you think of the Cesar Hernandez move?
I mean, obviously, he's not one of the marquee names like, Trey Turner who went or Adam Frazier or stuff like that. But I definitely think he's a solid top 2 in the lineup. And he has 18 home runs. So he's no slouch when it comes to the power aspect of it as well, too. So Of course, I would have liked to, go after your Trevor Stories or your Trey Turners or your Adam Fraziers because they're marquee names and you could put them at 1, 2, or 3 in the lineup. But going with Cesar Hernandez, getting somebody with some flexibility. I seen him made a fantastic play on Sunday, so he's got a good glove as well too. So the fact that the Indians actually made a trade with us, shout out to the Indians.
I like it. So I'm going to borrow Tones's exclamation from the draft night episode and say, what the hell were the Colorado Rockies thinking?
Boy. And from everything that I've read and I'm hearing in Colorado, Trevor Story he's pretty upset.
And if I was him, I'd be upset too. But you have to never mind the player. Mm-hmm. I want to hit this question from the franchise. He's not staying. Mm-hmm. You're going to get a compensatory draft pick that you have to wait several years for it to turn into someone. Mm-hmm. What were they thinking?
I mean, that organization is just poorly run. I mean, the fact that you don't pull the trigger, you're not going anywhere. The NL West is a Shark Tank with the Padres, the Giants, and the Dodgers.
Maybe not anymore.
I did hear about the Padres right now.
That's massive.
Yeah, if he goes
down, that's massive.
That's huge. Then realistically, with all the depth that the Padres have, it's a 2-team race.
I'll be honest with you. I think because of the lack of bullpen help that, except for Camarena, who should be hitting every day, I think it's a 2-team race to begin with.
Fair enough.
Listen, Blake Snell has not been Blake Snell.
No, he's not.
Darvish has been very good. But the rest of that rotation has not stepped up, which is why they were looking for pitching after getting Adam Frazier. Now, how big is Adam Frazier look, who can now hit leadoff with Tatis down?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to – Sorry,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I think really this is the one. I think they're going to do everything possible to get him back within 2 weeks or whatever, but I think this is that marker, and he's going to have to go under the knife. This is the season-ending surgery right here.
This is the third time it's happened.
Yes, you're putting him at risk to lose him for an entire season by continuing to trot him out there. So if you want to lose him for 2022, Padres, go ahead and bring him out there. But you're gonna mortgage the franchise again next season. So
even if you sat him down for more than if you do, and if you take the steps the Mets are taking with Jacob deGrom, shutting him down, there is nothing structurally wrong with his elbow. He has said it. The Mets have said it. The independent medical people have said it. There's nothing structurally wrong. This is just inflammation in the ligament that when you throw $1.2 is going to happen. But if they play it safe with him and sit him for the entire month of August and can rehab him, they theoretically could bring him back in September and see what he has. I'm checking my phone. I want to see if we've seen anything else about Javi Baez. I said to you before, I said before we started recording, Baez went down, looked like he went down with that injury, but he's out there. So here's hoping. Mm-hmm. We'll circle back to that move at the end, but I want to hit – this sounds messed up. I want to hit on the Chicago Cubs, and I want to hit on them hard because I can't even imagine what that city is like. Somebody posted a meme on Facebook today. It said, one day you went out to play with your friends for the last time, and it was a picture of those three. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think we all thought Bryant was going to go to the Mets. Even when we talked a couple weeks ago, we all thought Chris Bryant was going to get traded to the Mets. And then, of course, Baez goes on. Was it a podcast he was on, or what was he on that he said that?
He was on, I think, some sort of podcast where he said basically in Spanish that he would love to go play with his buddy Francisco Lindor, and Francisco Lindor is with the Mets. So I don't know how that really materialized, but it did. And there he is wearing number 23 with the Mets, correct?
Yeah, 23. Michael Kadire, I believe, was the last person to wear 23 for the New York Mets. Either him or Eric Campbell, I can't remember. The fact that I'm throwing names out like Michael Kadire and Eric Campbell should probably tell you how big of a Met fan I actually am. So here's the next question. Why do the Yankees get to have nice things?
Can I just say no comment, please?
Sure. But then let me tell you the best part. Did you see what happened the day after Rizzo was traded for? Or the day after Gallo was traded for?
Mm-mm.
Tampa beat him 14-0, and Garrett Cole gave up 9 runs. Everybody, all my Yankee fan friends on Facebook, hey, remember when the Mets had a better record than the Yankees? Guess who's in first place, brother?
Mm-hmm.
Losing to the Marlins right now.
I seen Jazz. I think he cranked a bomb. Might have been a grand slam, possibly.
It wasn't Jazz. It was Lewis Brinson.
Oh, Brinson. Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
No, Jazz. It's fine. Jazz took DeGrom deep earlier in the year. Lewis Brinson makes me want to throw things.
Okay. Lewis Brinson.
And then Luzardo's pitching tonight for him.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Let's dive into that, because what was Oakland thinking? Marte's not going to stay.
No, absolutely not. And it's kind of troubling because Starling Marte, he's had his, shining years where he was, stellar with the Pirates and so forth and stuff like that. And he's kind of made his way a little bit around the league. But what Oakland was doing, giving Luzardo up, who I think I mentioned in our chat, he's got 7 more years of control.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Marlins, I think Tone's attested to it. The Marlins won that deal regardless. And the only way around it would be if the A's went to the promised land and won it all, which is possible, but
it really is. But having Luzardo there for 6 years would have been a lot more than Starling Marte rental.
Correct. And I would be curious to see exactly where Marte ends up next year, but I highly doubt it's with the Oakland A's.
I don't think it's going to be Oakland. I think Marte ends up with the Yankees, to be honest with you. But going back to them for a minute, they traded Luis Cessa and Justin Wilson to Cincinnati. Cessa, of course, gave up the game-winning hit the other night to the Mets. By the way, Brandon Drury is 12 for his last 18.
Is he really?
He is just he got an RBI double tonight.
Wow.
Pete just turned around a 96-mile-an-hour fastball in the inner half and hit it 400 feet on the line.
Who do you guys got this?
It's the Marlins right now.
Okay.
4 the Marlins, and the next 13, Dodgers and Giants.
True test. On the road or at
home? Both.
Both, okay.
So here is the good part about the Mets' remaining schedule. Of their last 60-some games, 20 of them are against the Marlins and the Nationals.
Winnable games.
Go 15-5. Go 15-5, and you bury that division.
I mean,
because even with as bad as they played, with all the injuries and everything else, the Mets still have a 4-game lead.
Mm-hmm. And you think about it, Phillies are kind of muddling. They really didn't make any noise. I think they kind of stayed.
Gibson and Kennedy were big.
Okay.
It's exactly what they needed.
Okay.
So they got Gibson and Kennedy. Of course, Kennedy's going to go in the back end of that bullpen instead of Hector Neris, which is huge, and Alvarado, which is massive. But he's not locked down. You add Gibson, who pitched in the All-Star game. He's a nice little piece. But again, it's the rest of it. The only consistent starters they've had are Nola and Wheeler. So after that, you have 3 question marks. Gibson might not be a question mark there, but that's still, we don't know what he's going to be in a new league. The Braves went out and just got everybody. I mean, they just went out and said Jock, which was on our show. I like Jorge Soler.
That was nice.
I like Duvall.
Mm-hmm.
They bring in Eddie Rosario from the Indians for the Kung Fu Panda, which the big joke going around Cleveland is if Panda shows up, he's already done more than Kevin Love has this year in Cleveland. And then they get Rodriguez to throw in the bullpen. But again, I don't feel like Atlanta addressed their biggest question mark, which is their bullpen. One pitcher isn't going to do it. We just saw, they took 3 of 5 from the Mets, but they had 4 of those games won.
Mm-hmm.
And they dropped the other one because they had to leave Max Fried in too long. Your division is wrapped up, by the way. It's just that no one's catching you.
Fingers crossed.
And now, after what the Twins just did,
They waved the white flag. Yes, they did.
never mind the white flag. Did you see what they asked the Mets for?
No.
Okay. So they get Simeon Woods Richardson from Toronto, who was part of the deal for Marcus Stroman,
Okay.
who was a Mets, and they got one other prospect. They wanted Dom Smith and Ronnie Mauricio from the Mets.
For who?
For Barrios.
Oh.
Now, if it had been Ronnie Mauricio and another minor leaguer, I would have done the deal.
Mm-hmm.
You would have not only taken one of your better bats. He's hitting .330 against lefties.
Wow.
Exactly. Doolittle, that was the Nationals closer last year, a couple years ago.
The glasses guy?
He's the one that gave up the hit to Dom to tie the game Saturday night. On a breaking ball, he one-handed it in center field. So they wanted Dom and Ronnie Mauricio. Now, Ronnie Mauricio, I said on our show that I thought he was going to go. I honestly believed Ronnie Mauricio was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
That brings us to what the Cubs got for Javier Baez and Trevor Williams. Did you see what it was?
I heard about it, but I don't remember.
It is Double-A outfielder Pete Crow Armstrong.
Okay.
That's it.
Wait, that's it?
That is the only player to go from the New York Mets to the Chicago Cubs in that deal.
I mean, I was actually listening to sports radio here, and they say he's a highly coveted prospect who will
phenomenal.
Who will materialize to something in the next couple of years. But I'm shocked it was only for one player. I would have figured it would have been at least a couple guys.
I would have thought so too. I will say this: I love Pete Crow Armstrong. I really do. He's going to be a major league center fielder. He can already go and get it. He spent most of spring training with the big club this year, and he produced. And he played good center field. So the Cubs got themselves a gem. But it feels like the Mets knew they had the leverage. Because Baez says he wanted to play with Lindor.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a Spanish language podcast he was on?
I believe so. I think it was La Vida Baseball.
Okay.
I think it's something that is affiliated with, and not to say that he runs it or whatever, but one of Ozzie Guillen's sons. It's like a contributor to their podcast, and they interview like all the Latin American guys across the league, and just mainly in Spanish because that's most of their main language. So, but he went on there, was a special guest, and I just seen a quick snippet of it and said that he would love to play with Francisco Lindor, who is, I guess, their longtime friends, obviously countrymen. So,
yep.
And then before you know it, I get the alert on my phone. Javi Baez is now a New York Met. I'm just like, whoa.
Here's the other thing people weren't talking about. They were the middle infield for that Puerto Rico team that went to the World Baseball Classic finals against the U.S. a few years ago.
Very true.
Where they got beat by their now teammate, Marcus Stroman.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let's dive into my Mets because the last thing we're going to do is those idiots on the West Coast. I mean, the Dodgers. Sorry. I got a joke about one of their other pitchers for you, too.
Is he the one who's not playing right now?
It's the one who's on the same team as Rick Vaughn in the California Penal League. Oh, God. I can't believe I said that. So the Mets bring in Javi Baez. When Lindor is healthy, and hopefully Javi is too, that's a heck of a middle infield. When I was a kid, I was in Cleveland, and I got to see
the best infield in baseball.
Omar Vizquel and Roberto Alomar. And, and Travis Fryman, who was no slouch at third.
Mm-hmm.
And Tomey, of course, who was a Hall of Famer. He was one of your boys, too.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best Mets middle infield since Ray Ordonez and Edgardo Alfonso.
Wow. Okay. That's taking it back a few years.
Who, by the way, was there Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Alfonso was there. The person who inducted Alfonso into the Mets Hall of Fame was Mike Piazza.
Sick.
They did videos for everybody. Ed Kranepool, who was an original Met and played with Matlack, did Matlack's. Hernandez did Ron Darling's. And Mike Piazza did Alfonso's.
I like that.
You got to have some kind of juice to have the Hall of Famer do your intro video.
Yep.
Biggest hand of the night, Bobby Valentine.
Hey. There you go. I like that.
So the Mets also did a death piece in Trevor Williams, which God knows they need the arms.
Mm-hmm.
Could this deal, once healthy, put the Mets over the top and win the National League East?
I mean, in my mind, I think with the type of roster you have and the type of pitching that you have and the type of pitching that's waiting in the wings to getting healthy, it's kind of a no-brainer for me at least. And I'm an outsider looking in, but when I look at that roster 1 to 9 and the bench players that you have, and then your pitching that you have, and then your middle relief guys that you have, and then your bullpen is working out a couple kinks, working them out. But
I want to kill him.
But the way I'm looking at it and the way it's constructed, like, you guys should either maintain that lead, if not take it up, to the double-digit mark, 9-10 games at least, and win it by that.
I agree with you, and yes, I'm a massive homer, and I get it. But the thing is, you're talking about a team that right now is leading this division by 4 games. Hang on a second. Baez is still playing.
Okay.
I just opened up the MLB app. We got Cookie looked great on Friday.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yes. And by the way, they looked awesome in the black jerseys.
I believe it.
By the hat.
I'm going to do it. Do it.
I like the one you got on.
You like the one I have on? It's just a
35th and Shields.
It's a snapback, but I mean, I got it at a local shop right by the park, and it fits.
It's nice.
Thank you.
Well, like I told you the other day when we were talking, I have to get the flex fits because I got a weird head.
Okay. Oh, this is just a snapback. They don't make this one in a fitted.
I can't do the snapbacks.
No,
because hold on. I still wear the brim.
Okay.
Like when I was pitching.
Okay.
So it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
So since I mentioned pitching, let's get to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Can the rich not get richer, please? God.
Look. First of all, I got to give them one of these.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because their front office worked hard. Because, by the way, they also got Danny Duffy from Kansas City, which is a great piece. But you bring in Scherzer and Trey Turner. Your middle infield is now Corey Seager. Sorry, I keep getting him confused.
It's fine.
Corey Seager. Well, I think he's going to join his brother next year. Corey Seager and Trey Turner up the middle. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But then I sat down and thought about this. Kershaw's been dinged up. Bellinger's got something wrong. He's not hitting. Betts has been dinged up. So you got guys on this team that are supposed to be contributing at a high level that aren't because of injury and whatnot. And the Dodgers are, for the first time in how many years, are chasing as opposed to being chased.
It is a little shocking as well, too. But that's just kudos to the Giants and kudos to them for them adding one of Chicago's own.
I like the move. Biased. I love him and Wilmer Flores in the same lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that home run was 6 years ago? The one he hit against the Nationals?
That's unbelievable.
I was 6 years ago Saturday night when I did the show. I talked about it, and like it was yesterday. I remember that. So now when you get the Dodgers in a short series, you're done. You're done.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I think I let me look it up really quickly. Hold on. Don't give me a second here.
I'm not going anywhere.
I think they do. Tomorrow and I think Wednesday, they got a short 2-game series against the Astros, and they're throwing out tomorrow Walker Buehler and Wednesday Max Scherzer. against their Astros in Los Angeles. That's going to be a warm welcome for the Houston Astros. Sorry.
I didn't hear anything. I got to tell you, listen. Scherzer isn't what he once was. Let's be very honest. He's still Max Scherzer. You're gonna get Walker Buehler in Game 1, Clayton Kershaw in Game 2, and Max Scherzer in Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Were you shocked the Nationals blew it up?
A little bit, but by all accounts, and from what I'm reading and what I'm hearing, that front office is also in shambles as well too. And I think a lot of fans in the DC area are just bewildered as to why they just decided to do that.
Yeah, but this is very Marlins-esque. They're
is
2 years removed from a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say that about the Marlins because I love what they're doing now, except right now when they're beating the Mets. But in all seriousness, they just basically did what the Wayne Huizenga our Marlins did years ago and what they did in 2003 by just lighting the match.
Also, and I'm sure you know this, but they also let Schwarber walk, the guy who they just acquired this season.
And they let Yan Gomes and Josh Harrison go to Oakland.
Correct.
That's what I'm talking about, blowing it up. I'm not talking about Scherzer, who's in the final year of his deal, and Trey Turner, which is mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
You have basically told baseball, Soto's our guy. We don't care who else is on the roster. And we're just going to move on.
The fact that last week in the middle of the week, they basically said it's a fire sale. You can have anybody except Soto. I was just like, really? You're gonna give up everybody and just kind of, and I get it. Soto was phenomenal, but who else is around him now?
Victor Robles. What's the first baseman that was in Pittsburgh?
Oh, Josh
Bell.
Josh Bell.
Josh Bell is still there. They're very left-handed heavy now.
They are. But he's also had a down year, though, Josh Bell, since going to Washington.
He's had it down 2 years. He hasn't done anything much since 19. Not that last year was a coming out party for anyone.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I was more shocked that the Nationals blew it up. I almost said the Marlins. That the Nationals blew it up instead of the Cubs, because I thought with the Cubs, with the way they built that team and the fact that everybody came up at the same time, I was like, okay, they don't have, as much as they say they have the money, they don't. And now with Theo not there, it's like, okay, this was Theo's baby. They're going to try and go a different direction because the Cubbies will still sell out Wrigley. They will.
100%.
They did it when they were hot garbage. They'll do it now when they're hot garbage again. They do have Contreras still, so that's somebody you can hang your hat on. But Rizzo shocked the hell out of me. I mean, Rizzo was – we talked about it. Rizzo was the guy who was going to be a Cub. Someone compared him and said, Met fans, this is what it would have felt like if we would have traded David Wright.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, oh, gut punch.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I mean, if I had to equate it, it would be like if my boys were having a fire sale and it was Jose Abreu. He is the glue that keeps that team together. And the fact that you let Rizzo walk was just, or you trade him, I should say. Wow.
Is this what it felt like when Burley went to the Marlins?
A little bit. I mean, I knew the White Sox weren't really going to go anywhere in that time frame, so I kind of understood it. But I mean, it stung. It stung like nobody's business because he was like, you knew that face, you knew that arm, you knew that the game was going to last an hour and 80 minutes or 2 hours, whatever. So they're just
hour and 80 minutes.
Hour and 80 minutes.
Hold on, Frank Thomas. Yeah, I don't mean to bring it up, but I'm just saying. I mean, this is what we're talking about. This is the echelon of player that Rizzo is.
Yes, 100%, 100%. If my boys were in need of a first baseman and we could acquire his services, I'd take him in a heartbeat.
Oh yes,
take him in a heartbeat. Rizzo
Mine too.
Rizzo is he's that guy that you want in your clubhouse. because if he's going to have an off day with the bat, he's going to definitely show up with the glove. So you're going to get something out of him without a doubt.
And he's a good dude.
He is a good dude.
And that's the thing that people were saying on Twitter and with Baez. They're like, oh, he's a showboat. He's like, yeah, but he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
I loved what he did to Amir Garrett. I loved it. Did you hear what Sandy Alderson said?
I didn't.
They're talking about it, and he's letting Zach Scott, the acting GM, answer all the questions. And Zach's saying all the right things. Sandy grabs the microphone and goes, what's wrong with a little drama? And sits back.
I love it.
Me too.
Love it.
I thought it was great. So now we've had our mind blown by two teams that, look, they were playoff teams. They've won a World Series within the last 5-6 years, have blown it up. You got teams like the Giants who are trying to hang on, go out and get Chris Bryant. The Blue Jays who are hanging on by a thread, go out and get Berrios from Minnesota. And then I found something out. 14 of their last 23 games of the season is against Minnesota, and it was another garbage team. Who was it? My buddy Nick told me tonight. Baltimore.
Oh, gosh.
Did you see the Dark Knights throwing like 20 innings straight, scoreless?
Is he really?
I love it. I love that they lit him up. And I love that they beat him, and I love they beat Steven Matz, but I love hearing how good they're doing. We rode those boys to a World Series. I can't have anything but love for them.
Mm-hmm.
I like Schwarber in Boston.
He's gonna have success in Boston for sure. I mean, and that lineup is stacked too.
Who saw this coming though? Who saw a dogfight between them and the Braves at the top of that division?
I mean,
we all picked who we picked.
Yep. But you know what?
Boys are fighting.
But I've always said, regardless, and they're also coming off of a sweep of the Boston Red Sox this past weekend. The Rays.
I saw that.
I mean, they're gritty. Those boys are gritty. That's the best way to put it. They're gritty.
They are, and it's uncanny. Oakland we talked about quickly. Johnny Gomes, Yan Gomes, Josh Harrison, and of course Starling Marte. Though it's a heck of a boost to the lineup. Do you think they got the arms to get through the West?
They got a good chance. I think so. I think they got a good chance. Too. I mean, it's going to be kind of a little bit of an uphill battle, especially because the Asterisks loaded up a little bit as well too in their bullpen. And I know they did. They're on the way to getting healthy as well too, so it's going to be a challenge. But they are beatable, though. They're 100% beatable. I
see your dad's boys added John Lester and Jay Happ.
I had a conversation with him the other day about that. In a division that, for the lack of a better term, is garbage. Besides the Brewers, who are running away with it, but running away with it kind of by default. For them to just go out and add Lester and Happ is kind of an indictment. The fact that you went out this past, offseason and traded for Nolan Arenado, you're not paying his salary, and they're kind of, and him and Goldschmidt are kind of scuffling, and you had nothing else around them in the lineup. It's a little mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, but they also had a need for left-handed pitching. They were very right-handed, even in the bullpen. But adding a bulldog like Lester, who really hasn't been good.
He's definitely on the downside of his career. I mean, there's no other way of looking at it. Granted, in terms of him contributing to to your rotation or to bullpen, however you want to use him, he's an arm for sure, without a doubt. And maybe he might come up with some Lester magic. You never know.
He was on that 2007 championship team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, he's been around that long.
Yeah.
So those guys, the Brewers added Daniel Norris, and now Josh Hader's got COVID.
They're having a little bit of an outbreak right now. They got a couple of guys right now on the COVID list.
Yeah, the Yankees had a few. The Nationals had a few.
I mean, I think
the Brewers.
That's why Trey Turner's still not with the Dodgers. I think he's still in quarantine right now.
Yeah, he is. Mm-hmm. But he's going to be a beast when he gets out there. I got to tell you, I like Daniel Hudson to San Diego. I think that was a needed piece.
That was a nice move. Also, too,
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the Brewers, they also were the ones who landed Eduardo Escobar
That's big.
from Arizona. So that's kind of huge.
That is big. They needed that right-handed bat, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a switch hitter, I think, too. So
That's right.
even better for them because
And even earlier, they get Willie Adames, who's been massive.
I mean, he's had a resurgence since he got traded from the Rays.
What's going on with Yelich?
Oh, he's got COVID right now, actually, too.
Does he really?
He is. He has come out and said, though, that he's fully vaccinated and I guess asymptomatic, but still can't play.
14 days. You're down. All right, so let's get to some of this other stuff here. What do you think of the Indians' new name?
Interesting.
Do you know the story behind it?
I don't know the story behind it.
Okay. You've seen Major League, I assume, because you don't live under a rock and you're a baseball fan. Beginning of the movie, when they're singing there's a big moon rising down the Cuyahoga River.
Okay.
The bridge that you see, those are the Guardians of Transportation. That's the Guardians of Transportation Bridge. I will hopefully have a shirt that a friend of mine from high school designed. I'm going to give him a shout out and I'm going to tell him when I post it. His name is Aaron Seacrest. He goes by Pants Pantsley on social media. The dude is an absolute trip. He had designed a Guardians logo, which is killer.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's his art and he's a phenomenal artist, he's selling shirts and stickers. So I reached out to him. I'm going to try and get a shirt in my size. I had said, listen, I'd love a sticker because I don't, you don't have in my size. He goes, let me get through this run. Let me see if I can get you one. If he gets me one, I'm going to wear it on here. I actually like it.
Okay.
Because as I said Saturday night, if they were renamed the Spiders, my wife wouldn't let me go to the game. She hates spiders. Which got me a funny look, by the way. You're married. You know that look.
I do.
But I like it for that. But somebody said the logo looked like that.
I did get a chuckle out of that. Yes.
Me too. But I like that. The only thing I need to have happen now is the Washington football team needs to be renamed the Sentinels, like in the Keanu Reeves movie.
Well,
and he's got to come out in the Shane Falco jersey.
Wow, that would be legendary right there, I would say.
Fun fact: did you know his two characters that played football, Johnny Utah and Shane Falco, both went to Ohio State?
No, I did not.
It's a sign. So trade deadline was crazy. This is the best one you've ever seen?
The wildest one I've ever seen. Even to like the ninth hour, deals going down like at 2:30. My time, deadline ends at 3 p.m. It was pretty wild to say the least.
It was wild up until about 3:30, Eastern time, obviously. Mm-hmm. But remember, 6 years ago, the Mets didn't get Cespedes until 5 minutes to 4.
True.
So we've had him go later. I mean, I think it was the next year Jay Bruce was at 3:30, 3:45. Mm-hmm. But we've had 11th hour deals that have just blown things away. So as teams are currently constructed, let's not count the Dodgers in this because the Dodgers are the big winner with who they brought in, depending on what they get out of Trey Turner. Who was the big winner in this, do you think?
Big winner in this.
And it's okay to say your boys if you think it's your boys.
I'd like to say it's my boys, but another part of me probably says that the Astros, because of that bullpen and what they got, those arms they got, it pains me to say because I can't stand them. But the fact that they're in somewhat of a weak division, obviously you have the A's who are competing, but aside from them, it's kind of a cakewalk with everybody else.
No, I agree, and that's a good pick. I am going to be a homer and say my boys only because I think Baez stays.
Okay.
And you have, and like I said earlier, you have acquired 2 of the top 6 shortstops in this free agent class, and one of them is willingly going to move to second base. Where when Addison Russell was playing shortstop, Javi Baez was the best second baseman in the National League. He's now going to set the bar for the second baseman in the free agent class, which is Frazier the only other one that's any good.
I think so. To my knowledge, I know it's this upcoming year for free agency is the year of the shortstops. So,
and now 2 of them are off the board.
Right.
Story's going to make a lot of money somewhere.
Where do you think? Just hypothetical. Where do you think he's going to end up?
Yankees.
Oh.
They're going to overpay, and they're going to do what I told you they needed to do 2 years ago, and that's move Gleyber Torres back to second.
But what do you do with DJ then?
DJ plays first. Rizzo's a free agent.
And then who's their third baseman? Urshela still, right?
Gio Urshela.
Okay.
And at worst, you sign Joey Gallo.
You think there's no chance that Rizzo would stay in New York?
If any of the 3 that the Cubs traded would come back, it would be Anthony Rizzo.
I also could see that happening. I was just wanting to get like the New York perspective, and I know you're not a Yankee guy by any stretch, but you know,
I live with a Yankee fan, and I have never been happier for her because of the kind of person Rizzo is.
True.
I mean, just let me put it to you this way. There are 2 players in the major leagues that I like to watch play that have nothing to do with the New York Mets. One of them is Anthony Rizzo. The other is Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
When he's at Citi Field or the Mets are in Atlanta, I hate Freddie Freeman. I hate him like I hated Chipper. But I tell you what, I'd watch Chipper playing a Sunday night. The Braves were on and the Mets weren't playing him. Mm-hmm. Freddie Freeman the other day when they were playing the Mets, Nimmo, of course, who walks and sprints to first base like Pete Rose, does the at first base like that. Freeman goes up to him and goes like this. He watched him point. And then the stuff with Rizzo this year, that was just hysterical when he screamed Frederick when he chased him down to second base, or
when he strikes him out.
When Rizzo struck him out.
Frederick.
The best part of Rizzo striking him out is he threw the ball in to have it authenticated.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. So, speaking of Atlanta, is Acuna ready for opening day?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. You do not push that because then you lose them again.
Here's the other part of that equation. Inciarte got DFA'd.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So right now, the only regular outfielder they have is the kid in center field that they wanted to hand the center field job to. Mm-hmm. I can't remember his name. Oh, he's the one. Did you see the throw Conforto made against Atlanta?
Yes.
That kid that got that hit Almonte tried to score. Almonte's been playing left field. That's who is playing center field.
Hold on. I know his name, but I can't remember it.
Me too.
Now I got to look it up because it's bothering me.
Yeah, me too. Because I know Christian Pache was the one they wanted to win the job.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. So he's not on actually the current roster right now.
It's not Christian Pache. No. Come on.
Heredia? No?
No, it's not Heredia. Although Heredia was on the Mets last year and he's been playing center field. It's a different guy.
Okay.
Let me go to the roster. 40-man. Adrianza Ehire Adrianza is the guy I'm thinking of. That's who got the hit that Conforto threw
Oh,
Almonte out at the plate. So Adrianza's been playing a lot of center field. Almonte's been playing a lot of left field. They bring in Duvall. They bring in Soler. Jock Peterson's been playing right and batting leadoff. I don't think Atlanta's got enough. I'm honestly more worried about Philadelphia.
I mean, are they really actually making noise in the East though?
They're 4 games out. Let me go over the standings in the NL East. The Phillies currently sit at 52 and 53. They're 3.5 games out from the Mets. Atlanta's 52 and 54. They're a full 4. Washington is still 6.5. The Marlins are 11.5.
Okay.
And I think the Braves lost today, or are losing right now. Ooh, the Orioles are beating the Yankees. Oh, wow, the Indians won today.
They did. They came back to win.
Good for them. Tampa's losing to Seattle. And Atlanta's not playing. So the Mets have got to come back against the Marlins and get to the Braves to 4.5. The Phillies are winning, so they would stay 3.5. So that Eastern Division is going to be a dogfight.
It could be, but I mean, I think, and like I said, I'm just telling you the outsider's perspective looking in. Your boys are going to get healthy. You're going to get Syndergaard back. You're hopefully going to get DeGrom back here in the next month or so. Should take you to the promised land. Guarantee you a playoff spot. Hopefully, top seed.
No, that's going to be out of the West.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Top seed's going to be out of the West. The Mets are going to pull Milwaukee in the first round.
Okay, you could beat Milwaukee.
They beat them 4-6. What the heck was I going to say? Oh, so Taijuan Walker came back to earth.
He did? Oh,
yeah. But you know what? My buddy Nick and I were talking about it. I said, Walker is somewhere in between the guy who was just unhittable in the first half and the guy who can't get anybody out in the second half. He's somewhere in the middle. Plus, I read this. This is the most amount of innings he's ever thrown because of injuries. So,
well, then it's bound with you.
Yeah, I think they've got to go to a 6-man once everybody's healthy. Because you're not going to get a ton out of Cookie. You got to protect DeGrom.
You also don't want to push Cookie either,
No, listen, man, he looks so good. He gave a first pitch home run to Jonathan India, who, by the way, is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the Florida team with Alonso.
He was.
He gave up the first pitch home run to India, and after that, the Reds didn't really touch him. And he was throwing in the mid-90s, so he was Cookie. It wasn't like he was, lobbing meatballs up there.
Uh-huh.
So, my friend, we are pushing 49 minutes. When you and I get going, we just don't stop.
That tends to happen.
Yeah, especially when you and I get going. So, tell us what's coming up for Row 7.
Well, Row 7, planning on doing a quick pod with my brother later this week if I can tie him down and get a little bit of his time. We're going to tap into a little bit of baseball news. Obviously, now that we're gonna talk a little bit of the trades, kind of what we did here, kind of get his perspective and potentially hear him go off on the Cubs because I know he is not I know where he stands and we're Sox fans and he's a little more vocal on his distaste for the Chicago Cubs. So
no,
yeah, a little bit of
not
that.
Chris.
No. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna really have to twist his arm to kind of get it out of him. But probably tap into a little bit of that. We might dabble a little bit of the Bears because we're getting closer, and I'm pushing for it. I know my brother's pushing for it. I want to see Mr. Ohio State Justin Fields out there trotting on the field game 1 of the season. I don't think it's going to happen, but by everything that I'm hearing by Louis Riddick and everyone around that's covering the Bears right now, they're saying he is the real deal. So for me, that just brings joy to my heart because I haven't had a quarterback in my lifetime, 30 plus years. So, we'll see what happens. But that's kind of what's coming up on row 7. Hopefully, like I said, we're going to be recording here later this week. Give you 35, 40 minutes of your daily dose of sports and hot takes and X-rated content from my brother because he can't watch the mouth. So
I can see that too. That's the funny part.
mm-hmm.
So where can we find row 7?
Row 7 is available on all your major podcast outlets: Deezer, Stitcher, Apple, Google, iHeart, Apple, Amazon Podcasts. We're all over the place. And thank you, everybody who continues to support Mike's. Thank you for you having me on the podcast because it's always a blast. It's always a good time talking baseball. Now we're kind of in that home stretch. What do we got left? Like 60 something games, maybe.
Now it's the sprint we had all last year.
Mm-hmm. So now this is it in the flesh. I'm hoping my boys can kind of hang on to that. I think it's last I checked, 8.5 game lead. Probably within the next 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, we're going to have Luis Robert back. Probably going to have Grandal back. So that's a pretty sturdy lineup. Hopefully our pitching can stay healthy, and then our bullpen, we're doing all right. So
it could be me.
That's true. And maybe
I was this close to driving to Queens.
Yeah.
To hit him. So you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. He's had a couple rough patches. I did happen to see. I was watching a little bit on my phone the other day, and I tapped into the Mets because I seen it was late in the game. They were up, and there was an incident, and I immediately thought of you, but I didn't want to dare text you because I know that you would.
No, you can. I wouldn't hide my disdain for Edwin Diaz, but he has pitched himself out of some trouble recently.
You're not supposed to say his name on the podcast. Come on.
It's not like Voldemort. I ain't afraid of him. So yeah, listen, thanks. I love having you on. We got 8 weeks till we got to do our playoff preview, the three of us.
Yeah.
And then of course we'll do a World Series preview, whoever that happens to be. And then of course all our hot stove stuff, the Big Rican Baseball Show will ride at least 3 or 4 more times this year. As far as what's coming up for me, hopefully gonna have Tone on later this week, and we're gonna get. Do I wear a shirt and tie, and kind of do the funeral thing for the Cubs?
I feel he's gonna find a way to spin it and look at it from a perspective. I mean,
as I make a ton of noise.
Oh, you're good. That's the way that I will look at it from me, or the way I look at it. Being on the positive side at the present time, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive, but I mean, the way that I would have done it is not the way that their front office kind of went about it. You got to do it gradually, not just like open up the floodgates, because like you said, you're 5 years removed from winning a championship and still realistically a potential playoff team. So that's just me, but I'm not the one who makes those decisions.
Yeah, but you and I have proven if we did, we'd be a lot better at it.
I'd like to think that I would operate a little bit differently than most front offices would and make better decisions, but
we're not sitting there.
No, not yet.
So hopefully I have Tones on later this week. I'm going to start working on the college football previews because I am reaching out throughout Twitter. If you see it, retweet it for me. Okay. I want to get someone who podcasts for every conference on with me. Of course, we have some big games coming interconference. September 11th is a huge day for me. Bobby's baptism is that day. That night on Fox, I'm pretty sure it's Mets-Yankees on the 20th anniversary 9/11.
Huge.
And Ohio State plays Oregon that day at the Horseshoe. High noon on Fox. Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt in the call.
Are you going to be watching it at church on your phone?
No, but when we go across the street for the little get together, yes, I will have the game on. I will wear my scarlet red tie. But other than that, we got the college football preview coming up where I'm going to try and hit every single conference and definitely dive into Ohio State. We have a couple more episodes of the Big Rican Baseball Show with Alex and Tone coming up. And then it's going to be dog season. And I will come I don't know if you saw this, every Sunday morning I will do a Big Rican Browns preview. Every Saturday I will do a Big Rican Ohio State preview. So I got a lot coming down the pipe. And of course, the last Saturday in November, mark your calendars. Because the last Saturday in November, it is November the 27th, the night before the 26th, Black Friday, I will come to you live from Cleveland, Ohio, where I will be doing a preview of the next day, the game, the 117th playing of Ohio State, Michigan from the Big House in Ann Arbor. Jim Harbaugh said this year they will win or die trying, so this will be a funeral motif because Harbaugh is going to die trying.
You need to wear a suit and tie that day.
I am.
Black suit, though. Black suit.
I'm wearing my Jim Tressel outfit with the gray, the gray sweater vest and the red tie. I did a show on Halloween last year, and that's what I wore.
That's awesome.
As always, Big Rican can be found here on YouTube, Twitter at Big Rican on Sport, Facebook Big Rican on Sports, Google, Anchor, Breaker, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, even ask Alexa to play you Big Rican. Alex, as always, it's been a blast. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. I will let you guys know when I'm going to come to you with tones for the Sellers version. And then I will have all the previews I just spoke about in the big show on the 26th of November, live from I don't know if I'm going to do it from my parents' house or my sister's house yet. I haven't decided. But I'm going to be out there for Thanksgiving. So Have a great one. Oh, something to look forward to. Remember, I think it's next week. Your boys play the Yankees at the Field of Dreams.
Dyersville, Indiana. Yes, sir.
My uncle is there now in Iowa. My cousin played there. They're from Chicago, too. Mm-hmm. And they did the whole, hey, Dad, want to have a catch? They play catch on that baseline. Right. Craziness.
That's awesome.
Alex, thank you again. Well, we will see you guys pretty soon. Let's go, Mets.
See you, Mike.
Bye.